Passion and emotions are a huge part of golf, and we've seen our fair share of golfers put their hearts out on display for the world to see as they try and be the best they can be day in and day out. Whether it's a breakout win, a win dedicated to a loved one, or the last win before they decided to wrap up their career, we've seen some unbelievably emotional moments. So keeping that in mind, here are the most emotional moments in golf history. Davis Love III, 1997 PGA Championship. By 1997, Davis Love III was possibly the best player to have never won a major. His record included 10 Tour wins and 2 Ryder Cup appearances, but his major championship bids had all been disappointing. That all changed at the PGA Championship at Winged Foot in 1997, where Love played like an inspired man. He came to Winged Foot with his deceased father on his mind, as Davis Love Jr. had competed there and the PGA was his favorite major. With that inspiration, Love III closed with 4 pars and an unforgettable birdie. As he sank that last putt, a rainbow appeared behind him in the horizon. His mother said afterwards he knows his father is proud of him and that he's with him. That was the rainbow.
Love's 5-stroke victory on that rainy day at Winged Foot has been the only major championship victory of his career.
Bubba Watson, 2010 Travelers Championship. After surviving 2 playoff holes against Scott Verplank and Corey Pavin, Bubba Watson broke down in tears in interviews immediately following his first tour victory.
No, I just gotta say thanks to my mom and dad. Without them, I'm nothing. My dad's battling cancer right now. Dad, I'm praying for you. I love you.
The 3 finished 14 under for the tournament. Verplank shot a final round 64, while Pavin and Watson shot a 66 on Sunday to force a tie. On the first playoff hole, Pavin sent his approach into the bunker while Watson and Verplank birdied, sending them to a second playoff. On the second playoff, Verplank missed a short par putt. Watson, on the other hand, was able to stay steady and sunk his putt to earn the win. Jack Nicklaus, the 1986 Masters. 6 years removed from his last major victory, Jack Nicklaus came to the 1986 Masters reeling from media comments that he was washed up and finished as a competitive force on tour. But with his son Jackie on the bag, Nicklaus took Augusta by storm in the final round. As an electric crowd looked on, the 46-year-old Nicklaus shot 30 on the second 9 to charge past Tom Kite and Greg Norman. Today, his victory is remembered as a moment when Masters patrons rallied behind one of the most unlikely champions, one who still gives hope to fading tour veterans.
And I kept saying to myself, as I'm walking down the fairway, I says, come on, Jack. I said, I started to get tears in my eyes. And I said, you've got more golf to play. But I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You were terrific. Thank you.
Tiger Woods 2006 Open Championship. The 135th Open at the Royal Liverpool was Tiger Woods' first major since the death of his father Earl in May of that year. Woods led by 1 after the second and third rounds, and then held off Chris DeMarco, Ernie Els, and Jim Furyk to triumph by 2 shots and complete back-to-back Open victories. After holing the winning putt, Woods buried his head in the shoulder of his caddy Steve Williams and sobbed uncontrollably. Stevie said to me as we were coming up the last, "This one is for Dad." And then after the putt, all these emotions just poured out of me. They have been locked in there. I just miss my dad so much. I wish he could have been here to witness this. He enjoyed watching me grind out major wins, and this would have brought a smile to his face. Ben Hogan, 1950 US Open. Less than a year and a half after an epic car accident that broke Hogan's ribs, collarbone, pelvis, and ankle, Hogan hobbled through a 36-hole Sunday finish to tie for the lead. Still struggling with injury, he then held off Lloyd Megram and George Fazio in an 18-hole Monday playoff to take home the trophy. Today, Hogan's triumph over adversity remains one of the most iconic major victories ever. Phil Mickelson, 2010 Masters. As the 2010 Masters began, favorites Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson had sharply contrasting family dynamics. Woods' family was falling apart following the 2009 sex scandal, while Mickelson's was rallying together as both his mother and his wife Amy were undergoing cancer treatments. Mickelson's decisive victory and his hug with Amy behind the 18th green further cemented his status as a crowd favorite in the golf world. As announcer Jim Nantz said, "It was a win for the family." Charles Howell, the 2018 RSM Classic. Howell overcame a horrid start and his own history of disappointment, becoming a winner on the US PGA Tour for the first time in more than 11 years by defeating Patrick Rogers on an extra hole on St. Simon's Island. Howell didn't sink that putt on the first playoff hole, but he did convert from 15 feet on the second, and the native of Augusta, Georgia, earned his first berth in the Masters since 2012. When the ball disappeared in the hole, Howell crouched down, put his head in his hands, and fought back tears. Then he hugged his wife and 2 children. It capped a feel-good ending to the final official PGA Tour event of 2018. Tom Watson and Bruce Edwards, 2003 U.S. Open. To Tom Watson, Bruce Edwards was more of a lifelong friend than an employee. They teamed up for 27 years of Watson's career, including his unforgettable win at the 1982 U.S. Open. But as Edwards battled the debilitating ALS disease in the early 2000s, their partnership was nearing an end. The stage was set for one final push when Watson received a special U.S. Open exemption and then used it to full effect. With Edwards on the bag, he shot 65 to grab a share of the first round lead. Cheered on by a sympathetic crowd, Edwards helped guide Watson to a 28th tie finish. It's sad to say, but Edwards would succumb to his illness just 10 months later.
65 for Tom Watson. How solid was that?
I'm just very proud to have been with him in my life.
Ben Crenshaw, the 1995 Masters. Smooth-swinging Ben Crenshaw had a close relationship with teacher Harvey Penick, one that lasted until Penick's final days in April of 1995. Just 24 hours after serving as a pallbearer at Penick's funeral, Crenshaw opened his Masters with a 2-under par 70 and never looked back. His emotional breakdown after tapping in for the win stands out as one of the enduring images of Masters champions.
I had a 15th club in the bag this week, and that was Harvey.
As the great Greg Norman said that day, maybe it was written in the wind.
Darren Clark, the 2011 Open Championship. Northern Ireland's Darren Clark claimed his first major title at the age of 42 when he triumphed by 3 shots in the 140th Open at Royal St. George's. Clark, playing in his 20th Open and seemingly past his days as a leading contender, finished 3 clear of Dustin Johnson and Phil Mickelson after holding his nerve with a level par 70 in the final round. He was the oldest debut major winner and the oldest Open champion since Robert DiVincenzo in 1967, and was overcome with emotion afterwards after battling back to his form following the death of his wife Heather in 2006. It's for the kids, he said. It's been a long and bumpy road. I have had some good things happen to me and some bad things, but I've had so much support from an awful lot of people. Thanks for watching our video. If you haven't yet, drop us a like, leave us a comment, and if you're looking for more golf content, don't forget to subscribe.